There is a moment in every human life when silence becomes suspicious. You sit alone in your room, the lights low, the world distant, and yet there is something inside you that refuses to rest. A quiet resistance, a subtle tension, a whisper that says, "Not today, not now, not yet." It sounds harmless, almost invisible, but this whisper has shaped your entire existence. Osho once said that the greatest obstacle to human transformation is not the world, not society, not circumstances, but the mind itself. The mind has its own agenda, its own fears, its own desperate need to remain exactly where it has always been. And tonight, we walk into that territory, the hidden battlefield inside you. Before we dive deeper into this truth, take a moment, breathe in slowly, feel your body. And if this message resonates with you so far, consider subscribing. Not for me, but for your inner journey. Each video is a mirror, and the next mirror might show you the part of yourself you have avoided for years. Now, let's begin. Osho taught that you did not create the mind you have. You inherited it from parents, teachers, religions, fears, traumas, expectations, and all the unspoken rules of survival. The mind is ancient, primitive, designed to protect you, not to free you. That is why when you try to meditate, it screams. When you try to grow, it resists. When you try to let go, it tightens its grip. When you try to awaken, it blinds you with noise. The mind doesn't want transformation. Because transformation feels like death. To evolve means the old version of you must die. And your mind, terrified of the unknown, will invent any excuse to avoid that death. It will distract you, delay you, confuse you, exhaust you, sabotage you. Because a silent, awakened, liberated you is the mind's worst nightmare. Osho says something shocking. The mind thrives on problems. Without suffering, the mind dies. Think about it. The moment life gets quiet, your mind becomes noisy. When life becomes peaceful, it manufactures anxiety. When everything is stable, it creates a new crisis, because a peaceful you is a powerless mind. Every overthinking spiral, every imaginary scenario, every fear of the future, these are not accidents. They are survival strategies of the mind. The mind feeds on chaos. It grows stronger every time you panic. It becomes louder every time you hesitate. It gains control every time you run from yourself. Your suffering is its oxygen. Osho explains that the mind has three primary weapons. 1. Doubt. The moment you try to evolve, the mind whispers, "Who do you think you are? What if it fails? Better stay where you are." Doubt is the mind's guard dog. 2. Fear. Fear is the mind's fortress. It makes the unknown look threatening, even when the unknown is your freedom. 3. Habit. The mind would rather repeat old pain than risk new possibilities. It chooses familiar suffering over unfamiliar liberation. That is why cycles repeat, relationships repeat, failures repeat, patterns repeat. You call it destiny. Osho calls it mind conditioning. Transformation never begins in peace. It begins in tension. The moment when a part of you says, "I'm tired, I want to grow." That moment is sacred and dangerous. Because when you are closest to awakening, the mind becomes its loudest. It will offer you distractions, scrolling, noise, drama, people who drain you, habits that numb you. It will offer you excuses. Tomorrow, next week, when life is better, when you're ready. It will offer you fear, fear of failing, fear of succeeding, fear of not being enough, fear of becoming someone new. The mind will do anything to keep you inside the cage it built, not because it hates you, but because it fears losing control over you. Osho says, you think society enslaves you, but your true chains are internal. Your past, your trauma, your beliefs, your noise, your identity. The mind says, stay the person you've always been, but your soul whispers, you are meant for more. This is the eternal conflict. The mind wants safety, the soul wants freedom. And you? You stand in the middle, feeling torn, anxious, confused, not because you are broken, but because two forces are fighting inside you. One old, one ancient, one terrified, one eternal. Your mind fears change. Your being longs for it. If you observe carefully, the mind lives everywhere except here. It lives in memories, regrets, traumas, possible futures, imagined dangers, lost opportunities. But never now. Never here. Osho teaches that the present moment is poison to the mind, because in the present, the mind becomes useless. No fear, no projection, no obsession, no planning, no replaying, nothing to control. The present is where the soul breathes, but the mind suffocates. That is why meditation feels uncomfortable at first. You are starving the mind of its power. You don't fight the mind. You don't suppress it. You don't argue with it. Osho says, watch the mind. Simply watch. Awareness dissolves it. The moment you observe a thought, you are no longer the thought. The moment you watch fear, you are no longer the fear. The moment you witness pain, you are no longer pain. Awareness is the flame. The mind is the darkness. Darkness cannot survive in light. The silent enemy is powerful only when you ignore it. When you look at it, it melts. Transformation does not happen in one moment. It happens in thousands of quiet moments. When you choose stillness instead of chaos. When you choose honesty over comfort. When you choose truth over habit. When you choose awareness over reaction. When you choose yourself over the mind's fear. Every small step weakens the silent enemy inside you. And one day, you wake up different. The noise is softer. The fear is smaller. The clarity is brighter. The mind obeys instead of commands. And you realize you were never trapped. You were only hypnotized. Osho says, the mind is a wonderful servant and a terrible master. When you observe it, you reclaim the throne. The mind becomes clear, precise, sharp, creative, alive. But when it rules you, your life becomes a battlefield. The silent enemy is not destroyed. It is transformed. From a dictator into an instrument. From noise into guidance. From cage into creativity. If you want to evolve, you must choose the familiar prison of the mind or the uncertain freedom of consciousness. Both have a price, but only one leads to the life meant for you. And if you're still here, still listening, still breathing into this message, then part of you is already awakening. You are already stepping out of the mind. You are already coming home to yourself. If this message brought clarity, peace, or presence into your night, consider subscribing. Not for the algorithm, but for the journey you've already begun.